Hello and welcome, this is Edoreld, and in this changelog video I'm gonna be taking you through the changes from version 3.10b of GregTech to version 4.07i. There are a lot of changes, new items and blocks added, as well as new functionality to all blocks, so why don't we get started? You can now stack advanced pumps on top of each other in order to make them faster. For example, let's put a few, and you're going to see that there's this new design that it's gonna show you that it's working. It's stacking on top of each other. And now if we provide energy and pipes as well as cells, it's going to start working. You have to do that on the bottom advanced pump, by the way, and it's gonna read the area very fast, and it's gonna go down, and when it reaches this level it's gonna quickly start to fill the cells with lava. And it's going so fast because of all the advanced pumps we are using. So that's the changes to the advanced pumps. The crowbar now has the ability to turn vanilla rails like this. And the rubber hammer can turn on power rails. Just remember that if it receives a block update, it will turn off. There's a new type of dust which is called dirty pile, and they can be of many materials, like bronze in this case, or there can be plutonium, iron, copper, etc. And basically when you get them you can smelt them to get an ingot. However, the best way to make use of them is to put them in a centrifuge, in which case you will get the normal dust as well as a byproduct. There are two new machines that I want to talk about. They are the electric filter and the electric type filter. Let's see how these work. So I'm just going to place it down. That's the electric filter, and we've got the electric type filter. First, let's take a look at the electric filter. Now, as you can see, it's got an output side, and I'm going to put a chest here, and all of the other sides can be used as inputs. So I'm going to put a chest here as well as a pipe with a conveyor module, so it will take any materials from the chest into the filter. Now let's take a look at the interface. The electric filter has 9 storage slots on the right and 9 hollow slots on the left, which you can use to set the filter. For example, let's say we want this machine to only let pass glowstone dust, then we would put glowstone dust in the hollow slots on the left. And when we put when we give the machine glowstone dust, what it's going to do is check it against the filter, and if it matches, then it will put it in the storage slot. If you want it to go ahead and move it to the output side, you're gonna need to provide the machine with energy. So let's put a low voltage solar panel in this case, and after a little bit the glowstone dust will be moved to the chest. There you go. What happens if I put something that is not glowstone dust? Let's say I put a chest. So the chest is going to be sucked in by the pipe, but it's not going to appear on the filter, in the filter or in the chest. What it's going to do is not be accepted at all by the filter. So to get the item, simply connect an inventory to the pipe, which is where the item is being stored. You can also invert the behavior of the filter with this button here, and in this case the filter will only let pass items that are not glowstone dust. For example, if I were to put a chest now, it will and there's no chest here, of course, it will put it in the output side. However, if I were to put glowstone dust, glowstone dust, it's not going to accept it. So again, it's gonna be stuck in the pipe, and now it gets out from the pipe. Now the electric pipe filter works very similarly, except for you can specify categories. So if we take a look inside, you can see that there's only there's a button instead of the hollow slots, and in this case it's set to ores, so only ores will match the filter. And let's change it. You can see there's crushed, crush purified, ingots, etc. And I'm gonna set it to dust, of which glowstone is part of. So if I were to put glowstone here, it's gonna match the filter and it's gonna send it to the output slot. And in all other regards it works exactly the same as the electric filter. Another change I want to show you is the muffler upgrade, which is crafted like this: aluminum plate and 2 wood pulps, or iron plate and 2 wood pulps. And basically when you have a machine that is noisy, like this coal boiler here, you can use the upgrade to make it silent. And that's the muffler upgrade. You can now use flint to craft tools, swords, pickaxes, shovels, etc. Let's see how they perform. Seems like you can kill a zombie in 4 hits. Stone goes okay. And you've got the axe, shovel, and finally the hoe. So there you go. There has been a new ore added to the game, and that's nickel ore, and it looks like this when it's camouflaged, and like this when it's not. And nickel ore can only be found in extreme hills biomes. However, if you're using a mod that adds biomes, it will also make use of that and add it in a few extra biomes. So nickel ore can be crafted into nickel ingots, or you can macerate it to get some ferrous ingots or some dirty piles of nickel dust. You can now use spray cans to color your machines. So for example, let's get a can of light blue and use it on this electric translocator. I'm just gonna right click on the machine and it immediately turns the color of the spray can I used. If I right click inside, you're gonna see that the interface is also light blue. To change color, simply use a spray can of another color by shift right clicking on the machine, and it'll immediately change to whatever color you chose. And this works with all of GregTech machines. With the bronze ones there's a little bug, so the color it turns into is not going to be exactly the color you use. For example, if I use light blue, you're going to see that it turns a dark yellow. The interface also turns dark yellow, and it's the same for the other colors. They don't exactly turn the color that you used, so keep that in mind. This also means that you can color pipes. If we get a pipe here on this machine and give it a few seconds, we're going to see that it's going to start transferring liquids, UV matter in this case. And if we color the pipe light blue, the pipe is going to disconnect from the machine and it's not going to receive liquid anymore. You can also separate different pipe systems by using colors. So for example, these pipes are all going to connect together. However, if I paint one of them light blue, it's gonna stand by itself and it will not connect to any other pipes except for those that are also light blue. To make this system work, you can either take off this pipe and put it back again so it loses its color, or you can color the machine in the same color of the pipe. If I do that, then the pipe will connect again and will start receiving liquids. There's also a new change. It's a new cover that uses carpets. So in this case I have a red carpet. If I just right click on the machine, it's gonna instantly apply it. And you can easily remove it with crowbars as usual. So that's how the new covers work. There's also another change, which is Greg has added steel and tungsten steel tools. So if you ever wanted to make tools of those materials, now you can. The plate cutting machine. The plate cutting machine is used mainly to slice blocks into plates, and that's what it does. If you put a block of iron, for example, it's gonna take a while, but eventually it's gonna turn it into plates. It also has a few other recipes. For example, it can make paints out of glass, or item casings out of plates, and can also make bolts out of rods, and there's a few others that you can explore on your own. To make it's crafted by using 4 steel plates, 2 steel gears, 1 diamond saw blade, 1 advanced circuit, and a steel machine hull. And that's the plate cutting machine. The printing factory now has a new functionality. Let's say you've got a piece of paper that's named. So let's name this Sword of Edoreld. And then let's take it. You can use the piece of paper into the bottom slot, add some ink to the right slot up here, and then add an item. And the item and the ink will be consumed in order for the item to be named the same as the paper. So I've got the Sword of Edoreld. And the paper will not be consumed, so you can keep using it for as long as you want. Another item, another block that GregTech has added is the digital tank. The digital tank is the same thing as the quantum tank, except with a smaller capacity, so it can contain less liquid, and it's of course cheaper to make. So same interface, same functionality. Red granite and black granite have been added to the world generation, as well as their decoration blocks. And you can find them like this. This is a huge deposit of black granite, and there are some small deposits of red granite over there. Let's see what happens if we replace the blocks with glass. Right off the bat we can see that there's a sheldonite ore in there. In fact, in black granite deposits there's a higher chance of finding tungstate ore, sheldonite ore, and iridium ore. If you go to the red granite area, which are the smaller deposits, you have a higher chance of finding tetrahedrite ore, sphalerite, and cinnabar ore. And right off the bat we see that there's some sphalerite ore over there. So those are the new blocks added to world generation. A new ability has been added to hard hammers, like this tungsten steel hammer here, which is a prospecting ability. Now you can use the hammers by right-clicking blocks with them in order to see if you can find some ores. So let's right-click somewhere, like here. No ores found. Okay, let's check here. No ores found. Let's see if we can find some ores around. There you go, found traces of coal ore. So if we excavate a little bit, there's some copper ore here as well, an iron ore, let's see, there's a lot of gravel as well. Let's place a torch, and there's some coal ore. Let's see somewhere else. Here it says there's an air pocket. That probably means there's a cave, which is also able to detect. So if we excavate a little bit, then we'll find the air pocket, which in this case is a cave system. So that's the new ability added to the solid hammers. We've got 3 new covers: the low voltage, medium voltage, and high voltage solar panel covers, which produce respectively 80 U per tick, 64 U per tick, and 512 U per tick. How they work is very simple. You simply put them on top of a GregTech machine that you wish to power, and you make sure that they have direct access to the sun. So let's put the low voltage here, the medium voltage here, and the high voltage here, and as you can see, they're going to start getting energy in their respective speeds. And those are the new solar covers, and you need to enable them in the config to be able to craft them and use them. Greg has added its own tradomat, which is called electric tradomat. To craft it, you simply use this recipe, or you can trade in your old tradomats, which are now uncraftable. How does it work? Well, it has 4 interfaces which you can access by right-clicking on one of these 4 squares. Let's begin with the bottom right square. The bottom right square is settings. You've got 2 slots to establish the offer, and 1 slot to the right for batteries, in case you want to power this machine with batteries. If you use an ultimate sheet armor on the charging slot, then the trade will become infinite, so it's useful to set up admin shops. So to set up the trade, I'm gonna put one gold ingot on your offer, and that's what I'm gonna give to people, and I'm gonna put one iron ingot on your price, which is what I'm gonna ask from people. Then I have to stock up the Tradomat, and I'm gonna do that by right clicking on this colorful square here, and I'm gonna put some gold, and then on the top right is where the actual trade takes place. So I can put some iron, and I'm gonna get gold in return. And every trade is taking some energy, and I'm actually powering the machine by this low voltage solar panel. Now, where do I get my earnings? Well, my earnings are on the bottom left slot. Here's where I get all the iron ingots. You can use an active machine detector cover on the Tradomat to detect whether the Tradomat is able to perform trades. So if we put it here and we set it to ready to work mode with a screwdriver, and we put some redstone, now it's going to emit redstone because the machine is able to perform trades. However, if we were to take all the gold away, the machine is going to stop being able to work, and the cover will stop emitting a redstone signal. You can also make it so it's in not ready to work mode, in which case it acts as the inverted of the previous mode. And that's the Tradomat. The advanced crafting table from GregTech is a block that allows you to craft items. To craft it, you are going to need to use 6 iron plates or 6 aluminum plates, as well as an advanced circuit, a crafting table, and a choice between a few items like machine casings or machine holes or machine boxes, etc. When you place it in the world, it looks like this. And this is what it looks like when you right click on it. It's got 16 storage slots, a crafting grid of 3x3, as well as an output slot, and 5 energy or container slots on the top right. How this works is you can put a recipe inside, like for example, let's put the recipe for coolant cells, and it's going to show me the output here. It didn't actually use the materials yet. It just shows what it's gonna craft. Now if we have some materials on the storage slots and we craft it by left clicking, then it's gonna use the materials here, and whatever is left, for example in this case we've got some empty cells left, it's gonna put them in the storage area as well. So we can just keep crafting, or we can shift left click to craft as many as possible, and then it's gonna leave us with the empty cells, and it's gonna leave us with the coolant cells in our inventory. Now this crafting table has the ability to store liquids inside. If we check it with the scanner, we're gonna see that it's got a tank, and the tank has a capacity of 64 buckets. So if we were to put a fluid pipe, the machine is going to start filling up with liquids. There you go, got about 5 buckets there, and it's gonna keep going up until it reaches the limit. What can we use this for? Well, whenever a machine has liquid and you put a container on one of these 5 liquids, liquid or energy slots, it's going to immediately fill the container. And if we were to have for example a recipe that requires a container like coolant cells, we are able to keep crafting it, as long as we have tin plates, of course. We're able to keep crafting it with the container, and the container is gonna keep being filled up by the machine itself. And of course every time it fills up a bucket, it's gonna use 1,000 milliliters of the liquid. But in this case we have infinite water, so we don't care. And so that's very useful for recipes that require filled containers. Now there are 2 more buttons I want to talk about. This one here will clear the crafting grid and will put the items into the storage area. There are 2 more buttons I want to talk about. They are these 2 here. The left one will clear the crafting grid and will bring the items in the crafting grid into the storage area, like this. The right one, on the other hand, if there is something that's pulling items from the crafting table, like for example I've got an item pipe here with a conveyor module that's pulling items out. If I were to click this button, this is going to take all the items in the crafting grid and it's going to move them into the it's going to extract them and I'm going to put them into whatever inventory it can. So let's do it. Now if we check the chest, there should be a water bucket and 14 plates, just like there were on the crafting grid. One last function of this crafting table is that it's able to store energy. So if we were to put a solar panel here and make it day, and then we check with the scanner, as we can see the contained energy has increased from 0 to 50, and we keep checking, it's gonna go up. And this machine is able to charge tier 1 items, like for example this lithium backpack. If we check it, we can see that it's charging up with the energy from the solar panel. This machine accepts transformer upgrades and battery upgrades, so you could make it be able to accept more energy at a time and to have more energy, because by default it can only store 1000. The other slots in the crafting table are, I believe, for plants which are not yet implemented, so keep an eye out for that. So that was the advanced crafting table. The bronze workbench is a cheaper version of the advanced crafting table, which is crafted with bronze plates, crafting table, and a machine hull or casing, etc. And basically it's the same thing as the advanced crafting table, except for its tank can only hold up to 16 buckets, and it does not have charging support. Remember when you only needed one block to prevent your machines from catching fire in the rain? Well, not anymore. You now also need to cover the sides, so you either use covers or you need to build a white roof like this. A new machine has been added to the mod and it's right here. It's called the extruder. The extruder is extremely expensive to craft, as you can see from the crafting recipe, and it's used to do most metal forming recipes in the mod. So for example, you can make plates, you can make ingots, you can make rods, bolts, etc. How does it work exactly? Well, it's got 2 slots. The slot on the left is used for the material you want to use, and the slot on the right is to determine what you're gonna make out of it. For that, you've got these shapes here. The basic shape is the empty shape plate, and it's crafted like this. And then to make the other ones, which could be anything from plates to rods, bolts to casings, you need to use a wire cutter with an empty shape plate, and depending on where you put the cutter, you're gonna make one shape or the other. Once you got your shape, in this case I've got a plate shape here, you put it on the right slot, and then you put the material on the left, and then the machine will start processing. In this case I've got a debug item, so it processes instantly, but not all the recipes have an instant processing time, but some of them do. Like for example, if you want to turn plates into ingots, it's gonna cost you it's gonna take 0 seconds, but some of the recipes have more processing time, so keep that in mind. And that's the extruder. A new item, the coinage mold, has been added to the game. The coinage mold is an item that's crafted like this, empty shape plate and a hammer, and once it's crafted and you put it in your inventory, it's going to generate a unique code, and this code can be used to make coins unique. If you put the coinage mold in a printing factory on the bottom slot and then you put some credits, the credits that you create are gonna have that unique code, and they're not gonna be stackable with other credits that do not have the code. And the fact that you can name credits means that only credits that have the same name and the same code will be stackable, and you could use this to make coins that are uniquely assigned to you, and you can make, for example, a door that is protected unless you put the right credits. So that's the coinage mold. And that's the end of the changelog video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time.